In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, you gumpers.
Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal live stream. Well, podcast. It's a show. It's a show every weekday morning from 8:30 until roughly 10 o'clock. And yes, people will try and keep us here for 3 hours, believe it or not. Today, celebrating, what is this? Guinness on your cereal this morning. I sound a bit quiet in my headphones. What's Mrs. M been up to now? But let's do this, shall we? I don't know how to say that. Can we have a phonetic pronunciation, please, there, Deagle, who sent this in? And this is a street sign in Irish West Belfast, reading Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. For the patron saint of the world, St. Patrick's Day today, of course, where the thing I remember about St. Patrick is not many a drunken night in an Irish bar. I'm not sure I've ever officially celebrated St. Patrick's Day, despite having some Irish roots myself. And that needs to change, doesn't it, having said that out loud? And let's book that in, shall we, for next year. Head to Lisbon, I'm sure, or Faro, where we'll be able to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But yes, St. Patrick driving the snakes out. There's a few good memes knocking about that, aren't there? Are we there yet? Stop, I need a wee. And that's St. Patrick driving the snakes out of Ireland. So happy St. Patrick's Day to one and all, anybody who celebrates that. And interested to hear there that he is the patron saint of the world. Okay, that's quite a big brief, isn't it? Compared to, being the patron saint of lost things or small children, as Sant Antonio is, who seems to be the patron saint of my house, because we've got a lovely azulejo outside the front door. Olivia, staying with Deagle, granddaughter Olivia. Look at this. Isn't this fantastic? She's made this at school as well. Lovely shamrock there. It's to celebrate. And she's got a couple of days off school. So I'm sure a lot of Irish school kids are very happy this week as well, and are celebrating. Not with Guinness on their cereal. Who said that? That would have been Andy Gilchrist, of course, who's in this morning. Guinness on your cereal. Who else is in this morning? Let's go around the room and see who's in this morning. Hope you're all doing well. We had a lovely gathering yesterday, the Silver Coast meetup. If you want the template for doing that in your area, I thoroughly recommend it. I think about 15 of us yesterday. A very, well, it wasn't too cold. It was windy, but quite mild yesterday. Here in the bay in San Martino de Porto, but it was very orange. There was a Trump-like tinge in the sky yesterday, and I'll have a look. I'll see how that's affected the rest of the weather, shall I, this morning? But you remember the pictures from yesterday? They were quite extraordinary, weren't they? From Pete, overlooking Pete's land there in central Portugal, and my own picture taken the day before it had really got kind of orange and cloudy, that dust cloud from the Sahara there. That was in, excuse me, that was in Alcobaça. I've got a lovely Honecker to drink here, but I won't have a moment to drink that just yet. I think the old Rebosados, the Dr. Bayard's got me going this morning. Is it called an expectorant lozenge, I think? So, yes, so on St. Patrick's Day, my profile picture is, of course, Saint Brigid, Santa Brigida of Kildare, Mother Saint of Ireland. Okay, so we're looking at the kind of the corporate hierarchy, aren't we? We've got St. Patrick, who's head of patron saint of the world, and Santa Brigida, who's taking care as Mother Saint of Ireland. And the feast day is, of course, as Deagle will tell us, says the prof, on the 1st of February. But some point in Luso-Irish history, Saint Brigid died in the convent she had founded in Kildare. Saint Brigid's skull was brought to Portugal by 3 Irish knights on their way to the Crusades in 1283. Lads, on the way to the Crusades, do you think you could drop this skull off in Portugal? Yep, like Portugal. Yeah, we'll do that. Her relic is now in the Church of St. John in Lumiar in the suburbs of Lisbon. Amazing. Santa Brigida, they're immortalized in the suburbs of Lisbon. The faithful knights remained with the holy relic for the rest of their days and were interred in tombs there also. So maybe they didn't get to the front line of the Crusades and just brought the skull that far. Quite amazing, huh? There you go. I just need to do a quick thing with my settings here to make it sound a bit better. And you can be the judge of it, of whether that's the case or not. I'm going to put this filter on here now. Oh, that does make a little bit of a difference. I don't know whether you prefer before or after, or if you were able to discern any difference at all. But that sounds better in my headphones. 1929, and I feel like I should be putting the Vingle up, but I've discovered that playing the national anthem, and this I think will be the last time I do it, it actually gets me into a little bit of bother on YouTube. I thought this one was in the public domain. Boom, boom. Okay, so let's go back to that then. In 1929, a small portion of St. Brigid's skull, oh my goodness, is this how these things work? Was given back to the people of Ireland by the Cardinal of Lisbon and placed in St. Brigid's Church in Killister, Dublin. Wow. So there'll be a fragment of St. Brigid's skull over there in Dublin again, in a kind of rematriation rather than a repatriation of her body parts. To be honoured over there in Ireland as well as in the suburbs of Lisbon. So there you go. Thank you very much for that, Prof. And if we can get, if anyone's a gifted musician here and wants to do us a cover version of the Portuguese national anthem, Warren, any chance? Warren, incidentally, did any of you see my video of the Parque de Morendas in a new place called Gaio, not far from where we live? Discovered a fantastic public picnic area with barbecuing facilities, children's playground. Looks fantastic. And there was a massive bench there. You know, they're saying, you know, don't build walls, build a bigger table. There is the biggest picnic table I've ever seen. It was two pushed together, but still they are fastened into the ground and concreted there in Gaio. Warren was watching this and he was thinking to himself, this guy sounds just like Carl. I must send it to Carl. And it was actually me, Warren, and he discovered that some way through watching the video. So Warren, hope you enjoyed the Parque de Morendas. The facilities here in Portugal, I've said it before, I'll say it again, are quite extraordinary, where you can go and barbecue, have running water, public toilets, children's playground, lots of lovely tables to set out a picnic. And the Portuguese do that so well, bringing a lot of stuff, 3 generations, and food to feed 5 generations, I think, at the picnic at the weekend. So maybe see you there one day as well in Gaio. That's in the YouTube channel, which is now close to 10,000 subscribers. Maybe tell a friend so that we can see what happens. Let me just have a quick look. Actually, no, maybe I'll do it on my phone rather than causing possible difficulty to the live stream here. So I'm having a quick look at see how many subscribers we've got on YouTube. Of course, we've reached the 10,000 threshold over on the community on the forum and as the free membership at Expats Portugal. And let me put the link to that on the screen for you in case you're not on the forum there. It's really very, very useful. Oh, and at 9 o'clock today, of course, we've got Luis from Global talking about moving. If you want to talk to the experts about moving stuff around the world towards Portugal, well, actually from Portugal to the rest of the world, they are your men and women over there at Global International Relocation. And Luis will join us at 9 o'clock. And he'll be talking specifically about moving vehicles to Portugal, which is something I think it's fair to say it's not for the faint-hearted, let me put it that way. And it's not for the faint-walleted or faint-pursed either. I think it's quite a costly matter. But if you're very attached to your vehicle and you want to bring it over, that's exactly what you'll do. And he'll tell you how to go about doing that, plus any of your other questions about moving things to Portugal. Luis from Global will be here. And, he's great fun, great company to have. So he'll join us at 9 o'clock this morning. Now, let me see. Have we reached that 10,000 subscriber threshold on YouTube overnight? Oh, this is a little bit sluggish. Has anybody experienced any technological difficulties in Portugal because of the Saharan dust in the air? I wonder if that's affected things at all. I'll let you know how it's affected the weather, and we'll come back to the YouTube thingamajig. And on that little deviation, on those number of tangents upon tangents there, I can't remember where I was. But we will go back to the comments. The safety of the community and the comments, the bosom of the Gumpas here, the bosom of the riot of the Gumpas. Happy St. Paddy's Day from Nubianet Slasher. And we've already started, Nubianet. With a few beers today. Andy's shouting out to me and a few others in a man cave style as well. I'm probably going back to sleep soon, she said to Andrew, at 22:08 this morning. You do get in. I think we should organise some entertainment for everybody at that time, shouldn't we? The time change isn't working to watch the live. And that is, beware of that. Some of the some springing forward has occurred only for a few weeks until we catch up. But some springing forward has occurred for those in the Americas. So, of course, it must be late / early for you. I think his keyboard he's got a man cave keyboard. Did Microsoft do a man cave keyboard now that is locked to capitals? T-Duck is here and letting us know that Stephen Wright and George Carlin are still providing pithy one-liners for us. And good morning to you, and thank you for being part of the gathering yesterday, T-Duck. Stephen Wright quote of the day then is, if you saw a heat wave, would you wave back? Well, hey! That's almost a dad joke, isn't it? If you shut up when you're wrong, you're wise. If you shut up when you're right, you are married. Oh, come on. Caps was on. Duck! Yeah, it's always on, Andrew. What are you talking about? And my Celt brother, Andrew Gilchrist, my great-granddad was Scottish and Irish. He married someone African and Native American to add colour in his family. He says Nubianet there. What a lovely story. I can't see what's going on with the YouTube channel here. Somebody else might be... you might... Those of you who are watching via there might be able to see how many subscribers we've got. Oh, it's decided to tell me. 9,972 we stand at the moment. And a quack from Thunder this morning, of course. From Thunder Duck. Good morning to you all, Gumpers. Oh, and I will find Marty's illustration of you. Of course, T-Duck, you wanted the original, which I think you already have a copy of a copy framed and on your desk. Isn't that a lovely thing? Thanks again, Marty, to your wonderful caricatures of some of the characters in this community. Baldylock's also here, and it's 1:15, a darker clock over there with Nubianet then. So Nubianess, us Scots love exotic colours. From Andrew there. Oh, and phonetically, I don't know, La Flel Padre Sonaduit. I'm sure I haven't done that justice there. I do need a phonetic if you want me to do that properly. A wee dram, they're going from Ireland to Scotland there. And whiskey is used as medicine in my mum's family, even given to children. I think that stopped with my generation. Oh, all the best traditions stop when it's your turn, don't they? And someone was reminding us, I think I saw it elsewhere, about how kids in poverty-stricken Portugal many years ago would have bread soaked in wine as well. As I think they were saying for their school lunch. I mean, this happened all over Europe, of course, didn't it? And this is not an unusual thing to happen for children to be medicated in such a way. With those substances ready available in the house. So, okay, let's move on then from St. Patrick's Day. I mean, feel free to keep wishing each other a happy St. Patrick's Day and telling us about your ancestry in the comments. Freighted, what's this? Freighted, and I'm lucky enough not to have to move the whole house, just what I want with me. I'm still flying in and out. That's quite good. Can you please bring anything for anyone else? 4 meters cubed from Algarve removals is 570, says Andrew Gilchrist. There's a bit of a guide there. And we'll find out more from Luis about what it costs with GIR later on. If there's anything you want to know specifically, stick around. From 9 o'clock, we will learn more from Luis. Even when I moved a few minutes away, I paid a company to pack and move my things. That's luxury, isn't it? That's the way to do it. I'm down to just the bed and a few assorted boxes to ship as my 2 runs. I thought I was going to say my 2 nuns. As my 2 runs and gifting away stuff, we'll see most stuff done. Okay, so that's quite a minimalist looking homestead you've got there with just a bed and a few boxes around it, by the sound of it. When I move out to the country or out of the country, I'll just move things that fit in my suitcase. I'll need a good mattress, don't we all? But I know they make great ones in France, do they? I bet they make a good... They just won't tell you about it here, but they will make a good mattress in Portugal somewhere too. Believe me when I tell you that. So yes, the mattress is really my only prized possession. My father's beds are like mortuary slabs. So maybe I should take that back then about Portuguese mattresses. Yeah. Is it Portuguese marble that's used then that you have to sleep on when you come over here, Sabia? Were you the one who said good furniture was in northern Portugal? Okay, so the jury's out on that one then. Do they or do they not make good mattresses here in Portugal? Has anyone managed to find one? Of course, ubiquitous IKEA, and those mattresses that come really rolled up and you just pull the cord and it bursts into. You have to stand out the way when you pull the ripcord or one of those rolled up mattresses. I know those have been delivered to people here in Portugal as well. You can get decent mattresses. You can get everything here. Come on, don't get too worried about that. But then again, if you're awake one night cursing me because you haven't got a good mattress, yes, do your own due diligence on that. Nick's purchase is a good bed for us too. Tempur are available. Never go to bed in a tempur. That is probably a strapline they don't use. You can get good furniture all over Portugal, says the prof, but don't think I said the north specifically. So there you go. You can. And Andy's agreeing with the mortuary slab thing. That's what I called the mattresses we slept on firstly over here in Portugal, the mortuary slab. If you can get used to it, isn't a firm mattress quite a good idea? This is quite a lot of mattress talk this morning, everybody. France makes mattresses that are good for over 20 years. I've slept in one that long when I visit. You lay down and fall asleep instantly. Zut alors, c'est la plume de ma tante, this mattress. It's filled with wool and handmade. And has it got memory foam in there? And some yes, some memories are best forgotten, aren't they? But your foam has got it covered. Yes. But Portuguese furniture is generally more traditional and in dark wood, but there are places like Areia or Gato Preto that do nice modern designs. Yeah, and IKEA, of course. Okay, I'm going to move on from mattresses myself and leave you to talk about that. Coach Turner, who will be with us tomorrow, it's going to be a great double whammy of fitness for body and mind tomorrow when Coach Turner joins us. And we'll encourage you once again, to join us in staying in good shape in retirement and older age tomorrow. And that's the body part of it. That's the second mention of body parts. The mind part, Phil Cooklin also joins us tomorrow in his new residency of Kuwudu. And some of you will know Phil, of course. He has been here talking about magically buying a place where the view is of Monsanto, the most Portuguese of Portuguese villages up there in central Portugal. And, of course, talking about his mental technology to manifest and to live in your dreams and manifest your dreams in life. So I'm really looking forward to hanging out with both Phil and Ian tomorrow from around 9 after we've had a little get together and a catch up like we're doing right now. Morning, all you early risers. Well, hey, looking forward to chatting with Carl tomorrow. But in the meantime, happy Paddy's Day. Not too much of the black stuff. Just enjoy. And Nubian is still with us and lounging on her couch, which is often a bed because people hang out and smoke all sorts of things under my bedroom window. Passive smoking, dude. That's why I'm often awake, allowing me to see the live show. If you ever want us to shout at the people downstairs, just put the appropriate speaker or PA hanging over the balcony. And hi, Luis Duarte from GIR is getting ready and just watching the show with us for a moment. Yes, we can do that for you. Just put the speakers on and we will talk to them. Those people who are rather selfishly keeping you awake by the sound of it. Guinness on the cereal. At this time in the morning, coffee is the only answer, but I always like the idea that Guinness is good for you. Tries to find toucan emoji. Yes. And like many people, I think you've enjoyed a trip to the Guinness Brewery. And Phil knows a thing about this thing or two. It may have a St. Patrick's Day, belated St. Patrick's Day and greeting for us, because he used to work for Guinness, I think. But I had to try, says Nubianette. It was roasty, so roasty, almost like coffee. I can appreciate what I tasted now. What we get in the US almost never compares. Indeed, that is so true. Okay, so let's have a look at this weather. Let's see if the Saharan dust cloud did anything for the weather. It was mild at first because I think it provided something of an insulation in the sky and when the sun was managing to poke through. And then it became an insulation as everything cooled down. So it was quite chilly at times yesterday in the house. And another one of those days where it was warmer inside the house. Outside the house than it was inside the house. So let's have a look. Let's see what the weather has in store for us for the next few days, shall we? And here we go on the screen right now for your perusal, but I will read it for you. Lisbon, a sunny day for tomorrow, a 20-degree high tomorrow. How about that? I don't know if that's connected with the Saharan effect or not, but more rain next week starting on Sunday and a high of, currently 55 and a high of 68 tomorrow. And that continuing into the weekend when the temperature will drop not dramatically, but it is going to drop again, and it's going to be rainy next week in Lisbon. In Porto, it's going to be another similarly sunny day tomorrow. 17 degrees the high today, and currently 10 with scattered clouds, and more of that rain coming in from Sunday for Porto as well. Coimbra's looking like a nice weekend with highs of 21 degrees. Very nice in Coimbra. That often happens. It's currently cloudy and a little bit of sunshine actually in Coimbra today, and a comfortable 20 degrees it's going to rise to. Let's have a quick look at the south. 18 degrees the high today, overcast with clouds at the moment, and a sunny Friday and Saturday with highs of 16 and 17 respectively. If you want me to do the weather for you in your part, your district, or if you're there already, or if you want to know what it's like in a particular part that you're looking at to live in and sleep in, obviously with your new mattress, then just let me know in the chat. Anna's here, everybody. Bon dia. Wishing all a great day. Base Orbit, so good to have you here on a regular basis as well. Base Orbit and Swara, of course. Antonio. If Antonio's here, he'll tell us about the great furniture of the north. I don't think it's the north specifically of Portugal that has great furniture. It's just that's where the factories are, right? But I noticed near me in what's it called? Marinha Grande, there are a lot of factories as well. There are factories all over Portugal making remarkable things that we don't necessarily know about. Brian's in as well this morning, and the OLP. I'm an Irish and French. I am Irish and French. I do love me a good St. Patrick's Day. I wonder what the French element of that is. How does that work? Andy's still working the room in capital letters as well. Customary, he says, and people capitalizing him back as well. Jean's here too. Jean, lovely picture of you. I would need to be in front to wave back. What is that? Is that a Stephen Wright or a George Carlin quote? And that lovely photo we didn't get a chance to show yesterday of you. And this was you cycling down in the south, I believe, on the lovely boardwalks of the Algarvian part of Portugal. Boardwalks everywhere, of course. I see they're maintaining them at the moment in San Martinho de Porto. They've pulled a few up and they're probably relaying them and renovating them ready for the summer. Thank you to Andy the Porky Feet for this. The Feira de Março, 25 de Março, 25 de Abril. Oh, finishing on just in time for the Carnation Revolution celebrations. Artists including April Ivy, Plutonio, Variações, David Carrera. I think they're probably a headliner there on the 25th of April, and a fun fair in the Parque de Exposições de Aveiro. That's a great place for a gig and a public performance and a gathering of this kind. So in the great big park of the Exposition Park, Parque de Exposições. I'm trying to avoid saying it, but I'm drawn towards saying it as well. And Luis is laughing at me at how I'm trying to grapple with that as well. I'm going to say it in that lovely big field in Aveiro, overlooking the canals and the water there. Very handy for the train station. Could be your chance to get the Alpha Pendula to Aveiro and go to that Feira de Março up there. All from the 25th of March to the 25th of April. That's they know how to party in Aveiro, so that's for your attention there. And I forgot to show the Santa Brigida earlier on. Silly me, but look, there she is. That, of course, in the suburb of Lisboa, as the prof mentioned earlier on. And an inscription and an inscribed stone there dating back to or referencing 1283 right there for you in Lisboa. Rich in history, as I'm sure you know. Superb. Thank you for the Porky Feet, to the Porky Feet. Any other, any references towards partying? We need to know about them. And, the festas, the feiras, the fairs, anything to do with that, with partying and celebrations, please send them our way. And people who are still in the United States, of course, may want to book these into their itinerary. So if you ever get anything like this, you do let me know, and I'll share it on the screen like this. And something else we didn't get around to showing yesterday, with rising energy prices, I think this may have been the reason why Diego sent this in. This, I think, is the Praça de Comércio in Lisboa there. What did Diego have to say about this? But it's a fantastic shot here of lighting a gas lamp in Terreiro do Passo. It looks like the Praça to me. But anyway, 19th century Portugal there. Before we could just flick a switch on to have electricity. There's a gas light. Early gaslighting going on, when gaslighting meant something entirely different in 19th century Lisbon there. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's no laughing matter, gaslighting. Chris Smith is here as well. Morning, Chris. How are you doing? Eggplant man. Nubianet saying, I can't, this is private to OLP, but it's in the public domain now. I can't retire until I'm 60 in 5 years. Shocking I'm that old. Yes, it creeps up on us all, doesn't it? Suddenly, you're that kind of age, thinking, what happened? Pam's here as well. Bon dia. Lovely to see your recent celebrations, Pam. Congratulations to you and Tony. And Barry, Bon dia Gumpers finally arrived in Nazaré. Come on, Barry. Come on down to San Martino de Porto. Now the adventure begins. That's fantastic. Come and say hello, please. Oh, I'm looking forward, yes, to seeing Sarah and Richard later on today as well. I'm always ready for a cup of coffee with anyone who's passing through town. If I can possibly meet up with you, I will. Lisa, fantastic to see you, Lisa. Bon dia Gumpers as well. Great to see you yesterday. And I knew a guy who poured Coors, this is the beer Coors, rather than the popular Irish band over his cornflakes. I tried it once. Actually, it wasn't too bad. Ew. Okay, Joao F is here. Good morning, dear Gumpers. Hello, Joao F. Bon dia Anglia to you, my friend. And I hope you're well today. And I'm glad to see many of the old names on the show today, indeed. Sam Nazare, talking of Baddy in Nazare, Sam Nazare's here saying hello from Australia. And Sarah Gumper, Gumper Sarah Yerman. Good morning, Gumpers from Stubal this morning. Does anyone know where to get grits? Oh, come on. I mean, that's bad enough having to eat that stuff in America, isn't it? Without bringing it over here. Grits! No, please. What is it? It's like, is it boiled up cardboard, as I recall? Near Stubal or even Lisboa. When we were in Portimao, we could get them in the Mercado. But now we've moved. We are feeling gritless. I think that's probably good for you, but I don't want to get in your way of your nostalgic nutritional references there. Can anyone help with that? Grits near Stubal. And Michelle's in from Australia as well this morning. How you doing, Michelle? Hold on this. Talking of weird pairings, Coors and cereal, my brother-in-law, Chris, is telling Sarah here, has to have his grits with grape jelly. You too? Strange. We must use this place, Carl. What place, Owen? I don't know what you mean there, but morning to you, as you say, morning to everyone here. Bon dia, got your message. James and Chris having a chat. We'll get back to you after the show. Yes, priorities right there. Very good. And I'm not going to read your comments. Thank you for doing that. It's just me being nosy when I read those out. Prof is saying I got my cock from Honda this week. That's short for. An abbreviation for certificate of conformity. Thank you for throwing that underarm towards me there, and I've smacked that out of the park, clearly. Bon dia de Rom from a still but hazy Cascais this morning. Back in Cascais is Ron. And who else is in this morning before we go say hi to Luis and do anything else that we were meant to do this morning? What else has been coming in on WhatsApp? I haven't put the number up for that for a little while, have we? If you have anything to send me, 913 590 303 is a number through which to do that. And thank you. The summer vacation. Oh, okay. We got a little bit of a guess the Gumper pick here. It's a slightly odd one, I have to say. Circa summer vacation at the beach house, which was made to look like a boat on the inside. I'm going to flash that up very quickly. As the actress said to the bishop. The bishop would have said that to the actress, probably, to be fair. I've got another picture from. Have we got? Yeah, we've got some more pink and sort of. that is not Lisboa, I don't think, but I'm going to put it up anyway. Some Vasco in somebody else's film here. To download from the Sahara here. That's just jammed up. Don't know what's going on with that. So we'll come back to that in a little. There it is. It came through. Probably Andy listening to the radio there whilst having someone film that. I hope for you. That should say Benagil. Oh, we've got not Bengali, but Benagil Caves. And this is what they looked like yesterday. Luis has gone back to do some proper work this morning. And you'll hear that pop through in just a moment as well. From Victoria, always great to get pictures and videos from Victoria. So I'm downloading that too for your perusal later on. These incredible browny, yellowy, pinky skies of Portugal. So very quickly, guess this, Gumper, if you can. Just pop this onto the screen. It hasn't got the full livery, but see if you can guess this this person who is watching this morning. Let's have a look at this right now onto your screen. Who is this? From a little while back. It's summer house, did you say, that's meant to look like a boat? I mean, it's pretty ominous if you have a close look towards the right of the screen there. Who's the girl? Who's the girl in the picture there? And let's go back to Lisbon yesterday, shall we? And that's what it was looking like on the A2 going out of Lisbon yesterday. Not really, but the sky looked that color. Yeah, like that is I think definitely a Lisboeta joke there. The circular road today here or yesterday in Portugal. Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Andy. Brilliant. I can't get rid of it now. Where is it? Oh, yeah, that's the right button for that. And yes, guess that, Gumper. Who is that with his shirt open there? Must have been a hot day, or he's just showing off his abs there, his washboard finish. So thank you very much. Nice little easy way to move into moving to Portugal Thursday. Whereupon we will bring our dear friend, our best mate in moving, Luis Duarte, onto the screen from Global International Relocation.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Good morning. How is everyone doing?
We're doing pretty well, and you saw this, Luis, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, it was pretty. It was actually pretty cool to look at that in the sky. Well, it's just very, very strange, you know. Like, but my daughter was here yesterday, and she was looking at the sky, and she was like, "Whoa, looks like we are in Mars." And I'm like, "But a little bit yellow." Well,
yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it? Really,
it was strange.
Very
strange. Yeah.
And has it moved away? I mean, here on the Silver Coast, it's looking grayer rather than sort of browny, yellowy pink.
Here as well.
It's cleared there too.
That's
reassuring. I'm so glad. That's reassuring, isn't it?
The dust has gone away. So now all the car, you know, the cleaning car shops will make a lot of money.
Yes, and you've got to be careful, of course, haven't you? Because you've got to hose that off first before you scrape it onto your car by washing it. So yeah. No rain forecast for a few days yet, so you might have to hose that off. But be careful. We are in a drought here in Portugal, so go steady with that and use the water wisely and preciously. So, Luis, you are here, of course, from Global International Relocation, and you're talking to us live from Sintra. And of course, I'm sure you're happy to answer any questions about moving things and people. And animals from anywhere in the world to Portugal, and vice versa. You move things from Portugal to the rest of the world. But today we're going to have a little bit of a focus on moving vehicles. Now, I hesitate to recommend to people that they bring their vehicles to Portugal for a number of reasons. And I'm sure you'll go into them here. But some people clearly, you know, if you've got a very precious, unique vehicle, you can't replace it, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be unique, and you might be very attached to it. So you can do this, and I'm sure you've got some great stories to tell us of incredible vehicles that people have brought to Portugal.
Well, that is for sure. Yeah, that is for sure. We have received quite a lot of interesting cars, you know, from old ones till very, you know, brand new ones that we all would like to have one, you know, but. From the Ferraris, Maseratis, and, you know, all of those Rolls Royce as well. A very cool car we got here once. It was from a collector. You know, those Mercedes from World War II? You know, we had one of those here. So that was a interesting car, you know, very, very cool car. So
irreplaceable, and they must come, of course, in exactly the same way that everything else comes. They're not going to be air freight, are they? They're going to be shipped literally. And what do? Do you have to wrap them up in bubble wrap or something? Because those high seas are quite dangerous places, aren't they? If you're putting your precious Ferrari or your World War II Mercedes onto a ship, how do you make sure it doesn't get damaged on the way?
Have you ever been in a ferry, like the big ferries, where you take your car? Like if you go to
Yes.
London, you actually have this a lot. What they
Okay.
do there is that they have these stripes on the floor, and they
Yep.
will stripe the car to the floor
Yep.
with those. It's not ropes; it's a different thing. Okay, I
Ratchet.
don't know the name
Ratchet
in
straps.
English.
Yeah.
Sorry, how do you
I
say?
think they're called ratchet straps.
There you go,
So
ratchet straps. There you go.
they've got a gearing on them, haven't they? So
Exactly, to
right,
fix it,
yeah,
to the ground, and they fix it on the wheels,
yeah,
and there they have these specific places where they actually put the cars. And for the containers, it's exactly the same. We actually we built like a little docking place where the tires are sitting at, and then we
yeah.
nail literally these to the floor of the container. Okay, so
Right.
the car is stuck with wood, and then we stripe it to the container. Okay, they
Wow.
have the container has, like, on the side they have places to fix,
Yes. Yeah.
so we stripe then the car to the sides, because it's true, we cannot afford to have a car, being going back and forth in a container, because one of two things happen. Usually, we bring cars and goods in the same container. So imagine we have a 40-foot container with
Yeah.
house of goods and the car in front of the house of goods. So imagine that would be terrible. The car would be just going back and forth, and then and then it would be
Yeah.
like smashing on the front of the container, smashing the goods. That would not be good. So yeah, it
None of
has to
that.
be
Okay. And
very tight.
I'm thinking of a little hack here, a shipping hack. Are you allowed to fill the car up with stuff? Or does it have to be?
It's a good question. It's a question that everyone asks us
Is
all the
it?
time.
Right.
Can I
Okay.
put stuff in my car? No. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Uh,
Of
we need
course.
to have the actual the gas tank has to be as low as possible. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Of course.
literally just to be able to get into the container, and just to get out of the container. So the the owner should actually bring, a can of gas to put in the car, so when they go out they will not run out of gas, you understand, because
Really?
otherwise, if imagine that we have received oftentimes cars here that the clients, though were advised or not, or forgot, or whatever, they actually filled up the tank before they came here, so we had to take all the gas out of the car, so we
Oh
need to pump it
no.
out, you see. Today we would appreciate with the gas cost,
Yeah.
because we are taking gold out of the car. So but
Yes.
yeah, it
So
was, it
can
is,
you arrange?
it is what it is.
Could you arrange for security? If somebody does arrive with a can of petrol, I mean, they need some people with them. They need some security guys with them, I think, to help, maybe to carry it and to protect them with their precious,
Yeah,
precious
yeah.
petrol.
Imagine the client would come back to the warehouse to collect the gas so he could sell it afterwards, because
Yes,
there
yeah,
would be someone to
yeah,
buy.
you can keep the car. I don't need the car after all. It's too expensive to run, but I'll take the petrol out of it. And then, of course, lithium batteries, which the electric cars are full of. I
Yeah,
mean,
not even electric,
what
but
happens? This is a
yeah.
problem, isn't it, on big ships now? The battery thing and how batteries can catch fire. So what happens with electric cars?
Well, electric cars or gas cars, all of them have batteries. Of course, electric cars
Yes.
have
Yeah.
more batteries, in it.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course, all these electric cars as well are prepared to be able to be in heat, to be, because they run every single day.
Yeah.
So, and remember, electricity works in a way that only if it's turned on, and the ions are like moving inside,
Yeah.
you have more probability of a fire. Okay, but
Yeah.
if the battery is turned off, which is the case, that's how we do. We need to unplug the batteries of all cars that we ship,
Okay.
and this is mandatory. Okay, because otherwise, imagine if you ship a car from the US to Portugal, will take 25, 30 days to arrive here.
Okay.
And if you don't unplug the battery, then the battery, even though the car is off, is going to be running out, running out, running out until it arrives here and you don't turn on the car.
Yeah.
You see? So That's the difficult part. So we always have to turn off all batteries. So literally unplug them from
Yes.
the actually the connection with the car. Okay, so
Amazing. And so does that mean then that electric vehicle owners have to turn up instead of with a can of gas, they have to turn up with a generator of some sort? Or
no,
presumably
no, no.
is
With
enough?
the electric cars, it's different. Of course, they can bring the full power, in the
Yeah.
car. It's not a
Yeah.
problem. We have
Okay.
shipped Teslas already,
I'm
not
sure you
a lot
have.
of electric cars. Well, Jaguar, I believe we did, but the it's not. I believe it's F Pace electric, something like that. Well, or whatever Jaguar was, but it is important to know that gas has it's a liquid that is, especially literally gas, not diesel. Okay, diesel does not explode or does not burn by itself, but gas can actually create that environment if it's unstable
Yes.
or with overheating, and
Yeah.
that can be a problem. Okay, but
Yes.
both cars, either gas or diesel, are always removed the diesel or the gas out of the car. Okay, just for prevention. So,
Okay.
but with electric cars, that doesn't happen. The batteries can be filled, but what we do is basically just unplugging the system. Okay.
There you go. That's what Andrew was second guessing earlier on there. So yes, absolutely right. Well, thank you for explaining that. And so any other great examples of beautiful or unusual vehicles that you've moved over here? So it won't just
Well,
be cars, will it? I mean, people want to move their motorhomes over here,
yes,
and
they want to
they
take.
also move their motorbikes. I mean, the other issues are caused by bringing a motorhome or any vehicle or a motorbike over to
Well,
Portugal, which we
I
can
would
talk
say that the important thing on shipping cars to Portugal is to actually understand the concept of doing it. Okay,
about. Go on,
because
tell us all about it.
yeah, there's a lot of. I would think that there's a lot of people that would think, no, I'll not be shipping my car because it's too difficult and
Yeah.
because I'll pay too much. There's one thing that everyone that imports a car pays more than buying a car in Portugal, which is the EUC, the taxes for circulation that you pay annually. Okay,
Yeah.
so that cost, it will be more expensive usually for an imported car. Okay, that's their
Yes.
base of calculation, but not much more. Okay, it's not like outrageously more. But in Portugal, the important thing to know is that if you are moving to Portugal, then you are allowed to take a car or two, a car per household. Okay, so imagine if I have my wife and we are moving from the US to Portugal, we
Mhm.
both could bring a car. Okay, even if both cars would be under my name, I could bring two cars, but or a car and a motorbike. Since you have placed that point here, so I could bring a car and a motorbike, and I would import it as long as I could prove that I'm married. Okay, so then I would bring one per family. If I'm a single guy and I would be bringing the same car and the same motorbike, then I would need to pick one to pay taxes and duties. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
So
So
that's the allowance is basically one vehicle per person, and is it
indeed.
up to a maximum of two per household? Unless, of course.
Well, that I have doubts. Usually
Right.
I had one client that they had like the husband, wife, and daughter, and they actually brought three vehicles, and they were exempt for the three vehicles. Okay,
Oh, good.
but
Okay.
they all must be, of course, older than 18 years old. Okay, so that's the important thing to happen. Okay, so.
Don't try it. Don't say, yeah, this Tesla belongs to my 5-year-old. It's a
Yeah,
present.
this is, it runs by itself. So it just takes him to school.
Well, that's coming, probably, isn't it? That's coming, but you can't do that yet. Is what we're telling you. Okay,
Yeah,
superb. So could you give us a bit more of the kind of red tape, the bureaucracy, the process? Then,
yeah,
so you can.
of course.
That's the allowance. What's the next step?
So basically, bringing cars to Portugal, you need to be aware of one thing. First, you need to be aware of the type of car that you are bringing to Portugal. You
Yeah.
talked about, mythic cars and stuff like that. Of course, the old cars are all interesting to bring. And
Yes.
cars that are older than, let's say, 25 years old are considered classic cars.
Yeah.
Okay. And we are talking about literally like, those Lancia Deltas. We have received one, those old rally cars,
Yeah,
we have
beautiful. Yeah.
received one. So, and that's actually a classic car. Okay. If we get an old Ferrari, or if we get old Porsche or something like that, they'll be all classic cars. Like this
Yeah.
Mercedes I just told you, a 4T we got as well, so
Wow.
that's all classic cars. And those classic cars must actually have the certificate of a classic car. They cannot be only considered, oh, my car is old, so I'll just take it to Portugal, it's a classic car. No, you actually have to take care of that in the origin country. You need to
Okay.
certify your car as a classic car to bring it to Portugal. Why am
Wow.
I putting this buzzing about classic cars? Is because all the classic cars are usually exempt already. Okay, and they don't pay UC. They don't. There's a lot of interesting things about classic cars when you bring them to Portugal. Okay,
Yes.
so but the thing is, you will always have to be aware of the certification of that classic car. Okay,
Yes.
classic cars aside, the important thing, like to bring a normal car to Portugal, you need to be aware if that car is actually in Portugal. Okay, or if the manufacturer of the car can actually and you had it's funny because in English the wording is a bit awkward, but we just had one guy saying, oh, my cock just arrived, something like that,
Yes, indeed.
so
Yes. Yes, that would be. Yeah.
the certificate of conformity arrived.
That's
That's
what
what he
it's all
meant.
about. Okay, now I understand, Prof. Yes. Okay.
So, but that's important because that's exactly the document that you must have when you bring your car to Portugal, okay, to be
Okay.
able to understand if that car is actually allowed to be here. Okay,
Okay.
if the car, for instance, Subaru is no longer in Portugal. Okay, so what happens? What do you do now? You want to bring your, WRX to Portugal, and what do you do now? How can I bring it to Portugal? It's actually you can do it. We only have to request the brand for the COC, and to be able to get the document here in Portugal. Once we get it, then we go to IMT, and then we'll actually basically open, like, imagine we will legalize the car literally and put all the how do you say, all the items of the car, the
Yes.
gas, the cylinders, the horsepower, the CO2
Okay.
emissions, all of that will legalize that within the IMT. Okay, the IMT is the
Ministry of Transport.
organization that
Yeah.
regulates all the transportation in Portugal.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
but
are you talking about matriculation now? Is that what that process is called? Or is
well,
that?
let's put this in two places. Okay,
Okay.
Carl. So let's say when you bring a car to Portugal, first you must import the car.
Yeah.
Okay, and secondly, you will legalize the car. Okay,
Yes.
so there's two steps in this. The first step is exactly as the house of goods, as I explained before, but I will say again. Okay,
Yeah.
so for you to bring a car to Portugal, and I have my little, because for a car you have a lot of specifications, so I have my notes here so I can actually check. Okay.
Very good. Yeah, no, I know you're very thorough. You're very thorough. We know this.
Yeah, so basically what happens is when you bring a car, first the car must be under the client's name for at least 6 months. So you cannot
Yes.
buy a car and bring it to Portugal. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a diplomat and I'm exempt of taxes and my origin country, which is true. And I just want to buy a brand new car and bring it to Portugal. Doesn't work that way. Okay, you must actually have owned the car for at least 6 months. It's still
Yeah.
brand new, but at least 6 months old. Okay, and then you will have to get the baggage certificate, bring it to Portugal. Okay, that baggage certificate must mention the car in it. All right, so I want to bring my old Mercedes Benz 500S, and you want to take it to Portugal, and you must actually request to be mentioned in the baggage certificate that Mercedes 500S. Okay.
Yeah.
Because in Portugal, then they will request us for the documents of the car for importing the normal document. And don't get me started on IMT.
Well,
Yeah, they
okay,
are
let's
slow.
not.
They are slow. It
Let's
is
not.
right. They are very slow. They're improving. They are improving.
Yeah.
They are already have some online tools and all of that, But
Well,
we are still in Portugal. We need to be content with what we have already. Okay.
take it easy. Take it easy, Thunderduck. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, no, but for us at least, it takes its time. Okay, the
Yeah.
INT, but that's the second step. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So then we have the baggage certificate. You'll bring it to Portugal. In Portugal, the client will have the residence certificate the same way as a normal move. They must have a visa to come to Portugal or a residency in Portugal, and of course, they must have been at least 1 year out of Portugal, and they cannot have been in Portugal for more than a year. Okay, so that's the let's say the environment, or how would you put it, like
Context. The context, I suppose. Yes.
there
The
you go,
context.
that's the context to be able to import the car to Portugal. Okay,
Yeah.
so, and of course, when you bring the car, if all of this is okay, you will not pay taxes and duties over the car. Okay, that's
Mhm.
important, because you will also not pay the ISV of the car, which is the taxes that we pay on cars in Portugal. Okay, the ISV is a very careful thing, because if you don't, that's where bringing cars is a no. Okay, I was yeah, because then we have the sour taste of yeah, of having to make one of two decisions. First decision, well, three decisions actually. One decision is to drop the car at the port, just leave it, okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
actually renounce the car. This will basically, the Portuguese state will actually receive that car, and we will probably see one of our, political guys riding in this car one day. But
He's only joking, everybody.
yeah, it's only a joke. It's true. It's only a joke. But afterwards, if you actually you can do that, but you must still pay all the port charges, all the costs you had for that period of time. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
so that's the sad part. You had the shipping, you paid all of that, but you don't get your car, and you just offer your car. You might as well offer it to someone that needs it in the origin country. So
Right. It
besides
sounds
that,
like you're not recommending this approach.
no, I don't recommend that approach. I don't recommend the approach of bringing cars to Portugal that you don't know if you can actually import them without paying taxes and duties.
No.
If it's an electrical car or an hybrid car, then you may actually bring it, even if you pay taxes and duties, because those, like the ESV on those, I believe for the electric cars it's zero, and for
Okay.
the hybrid cars it's a small cost. Okay, so then you would need to bring them. Okay, you could bring them even if you have to pay taxes and duties. But my advice is always not to bring cars that you will be paying taxes and duties. Okay,
Yeah.
especially gas or diesel cars, because those have usually, outside of Portugal, US for instance, very high cylinder. Okay, like a 5,000 cc car, and this pays a lot of ISV in Portugal, because the emissions of CO2 are very high as well. Okay,
Yeah.
so those are the things to be able to be aware. Also,
So, so to stay within your allowance, because as soon
exactly,
as you go outside your regular allowance, it starts to get very expensive.
exactly. Also, be aware of one thing. Now, coming to the import procedure, the cars, to be able to legalize it, not to import, but to legalize the car, they will need to go through an inspection. Okay, if all of you that are watching the show and have been in Portugal for a while now, you will understand that in Portugal we have these, IPO places, the
Yes.
inspection of automobiles in Portugal. So,
Yeah.
and every year, a car that is more than 5 years old, every year he will have to, be to go through the inspection. Now, a car that comes to Portugal, he has to also go through a B inspection, a type B inspection. Okay. And what is this? It's basically to check if that car is actually within the regulations of Portugal and the European Union. Okay. If the CO2 emissions are okay, if the noise of the car is okay, if the height, the suspension, all of that, the lights, all of that has regulations here in Europe that we need to be aware. For instance, if you bring a car from the UK, even with the wheel on the right side, you need to change or put some tape on the light, something like that. But you
Yes.
have to change it to be able to ride the car in Portugal and to legalize it in Portugal. Okay, you can keep the wheel there, just for the remembrance, but but you need to change those things. Okay. And that's indeed like, or from South Africa or Australia, you could bring a car, but you need to change these light things. Okay.
Yes.
Besides that, the CO2 is the most important one, and of course the noise that the car emits. It's important as well, because they
Didn't
will
realize
measure
that.
they will measure that. And if the car fails, you must take the car to a shop, rechange whatever you have to do in the car, come back to the inspection, do a new inspection to see if you'll pass. Okay. If the car never passes, will never be legalized. Okay. So
Okay. Right. So there's a lot. There's a lot to
yeah.
well,
Well,
to
but
go through. Let's put it that way.
yeah, well, fortunately enough, we do that. Okay, so we can help you with legalizing the car as well.
Sure.
We
Sure.
import
Sure.
and we
Yes.
legalize it for you. Okay,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but it's important for us to have all the information of the car before you want to ship the car. Okay, so then you make the right decision before you actually ship everything into Portugal. I have
Yes.
seen, a lot of clients that were misled by, the desire to sell of someone in the origin country, saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, just send everything, send the car, send the," because there are some websites, that will say that you can import cars to Portugal, and it's true, you can import cars to Portugal, and you pretty much can import any car to Portugal, because you can actually legalize it before the IMT. It takes a while, it takes a long time, but in the end of the day, the car will be legalized. But if we do that, then we are not advising in the right way. Okay,
Yeah.
because it's important to give something to a person that wants to move, that actually works for them, you see, as a family. So or a person, individual, it's not good to say, let's just ship everything, and then the Portuguese agent or the Portuguese company will handle it, and we don't. You see, if there's problems, we will not be able to handle it. And in the end of the day, you have that choice of just drop the car, pay everything else, or to send the car back to the origin country. Okay. And again, you have to pay another vessel, another transportation, and you can do that. Okay. So, and this is very important to know, because some people does know that, and then they bring their cars to Portugal, with hopes that I will have my car here with me, and then in the end of the day, it's a bucket of ice water. So it's not good. All right. So it's
That's a
important.
nice way of putting it. So can I recap on that then? So we are talking about a complex process, and it's
It
a
is.
process where it's best to make sure you've got everything lined up from the get-go, rather than thinking to yourself, oh, it'll be all right, let's just get everything and move towards Portugal. Because
Mhm.
actually, whilst it's stuck in the port, it's not even really technically in Portugal, is it, until it's made the clearance from one side of the wire to the other?
Exactly, very well said. It's if
Yeah.
while it's at the port, it's a bonded warehouse, and it's not in Portugal. It's in the it's actually a let's say a place that doesn't belong to any country. It's customs. so
No
so we
man's
need
land.
to,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, so
and
you could look through the window or through the wire and see your vehicle there, But if
And wonder.
yeah, and if certain things aren't in order, it may never cross the line.
It's true.
Wow.
So
Okay,
imagine that same car sitting there in customs, but
Yeah.
with the dust of the last 2 days.
Exactly, and there's nothing you can do about it. So
There's nothing you can do about it. It's true.
make sure you've got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed before you make those moves, folks. And that's what Luis is here to help you to do.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you for pointing all of that out. We have had some. I mean, I'm sure there's more you want to say, but at this point, people are.
There's a lot to say, but just the important thing is to know you have two processes: importing,
Yes.
legalization of the car. You
Yeah.
must have the car. You must discuss with us before you ship the car, okay? And then we'll inform you all the documents needed for the whole process. But it's important. Cars are important coming to Portugal, and you can bring anything. Okay.
Yes. Okay. But get it sorted. So, but we did have a question about motorbikes and electric bikes. Let's just let me scroll through the many comments this morning. Nunu's here as well. Good morning, everyone. After another cloudy day, but he was saying, your description of the Jaguar was absolutely right earlier on. Oh, Garvo's going to be over this way later on. I'll see you later, Gary. That's a lovely invitation, everybody. And where are these questions? Oh, Bahrain. Back with the clouds. We had it easy, I think, by the sound of it. Bahrain is currently having a shamal, which is a sandstorm of biblical proportions. Scary stuff. I'll come back to a lot more of your comments a bit later on, but I want to focus on moving things to and from Portugal. We have Luis with us from GIR. Good experience exporting 2 cars to UK was cheap pre-COVID. Now the price has gone up 2 or 3 times. We feel they managed to fill their cars with personal effects. 1 electric, now moving to Portugal as left-hand drive is a bonus. So easier back in the day. And we've made this point before, haven't we? Shipping costs have gone up, but there's not much you can do about that.
Yeah. Not even cars, everything,
everything.
And with the war and all of that, like we are seeing that the prices have been rising with no precedents, and has been literally crazy. We sometimes we look like the people that are lying, but we are not. And unfortunately, it's something that we have no control over. I can do a quote today, and then when I book that freight, the freight can go up 2,000 euros, and I can't have control over that. So it's a very tough situation, on everyone that is shipping things today anywhere in the world. And
I think this as well, it's a good point you make, Luis, because this is why I think some people are hastening and speeding up their plans to move to Portugal, because if you look ahead, it's like these prices probably aren't coming down for a while, and they are going up daily. And if you've got a plan, if you can possibly move it forward, and you're settled on Portugal, the cost-benefit analysis of doing it sooner rather than later is often in favor of doing it sooner. And this is what we're finding. Yeah, a lot of people are bringing moves forward. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say to all the clients, like if we do an estimate and you make your decision quick and the shipment is actually going to happen soon, then we might as well just proceed, you see? Because if we wait today, before we used to think like, let's think about, just shipping a car or goods, I'll just wait till the prices go down. Today is so unstable that we need to actually think on preparing and shipping. I get an estimate, okay, I'm okay with this, let's go, you see? Because if not, then we might have more surprises.
And even though somebody isn't moving for 2 or 3 years, maybe, because a lot of people are thinking, I'll go to Portugal when I retire. They could move some of their things now, couldn't they? It might even be cheaper to move things ahead. And
they could, paying taxes and duties, as I explained before. And of course, if it's small stuff, we can lower those costs, to the minimum possible. But in the same way, we need to understand how we can actually prepare everything.
Interesting. Okay, all right. Maybe hasten those plans, folks, or have a look at it, or look at the logistics and
if you want to move in 2-3 years or even next year, you can get an estimate today. But
Okay.
next year you'll need to get another one, of course, to be able to check, to understand.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the world a year from now, based on our previous couple of years, is quite a hard place to estimate and guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quite extraordinary times we're living in. So the COC for the prof was free, but if a previous owner had asked for the COC before me, he'd have had to pay Honda another £175 for the copy. So you've got the certificate of conformity to sort out, and there are some costs involved there. Motorbikes and motor scooters, are the rules the same on importing new, please, from Sam Nazare in Australia?
Yeah,
Exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
All right.
The only difference is motorbikes have lower cylinders. Of course, don't bring a Harley Davidson, which is a 1.3, or or a BMW GS.
Yes.
Because even if you do, those are still small cylinders, and you will pay less for that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. Gary's an observation here. Beware of the EU homologation number. That's another new bit of vocabulary for us.
Well,
Homologation
that's exactly what I was saying.
Yes.
If the car is not homologated, okay, I'm not sure if this is the word, but
yes.
Yeah, if it's not within the regulations of Europe, okay, which is that word, basically, then you need to do it within IMT, okay? That's basically it. And change the car and blah blah blah, and then get things done. Okay,
and that's going to cost as well, of course, isn't it, to go through all of that, and it's going to be very uncertain, isn't it, because you'll be doing something for the first time, right?
Exactly. It's like you want to register. You are an importer and you want to bring a different car to Portugal. That's basically that.
New territory. The other thing we could mention at this point, of course, and I'm sure you help people with changing their licenses, because you help people with every aspect of moving to Portugal. What I'd love your view on this, because what we're discovering for some people, and it's quite frustrating for them, you've got an experienced driver. They could drive a bus, a lorry, a tank, a helicopter, and a motorbike, and everything like that. And then when they come to Portugal, they exchange their driving license, and it's reset almost. Is this your experience as well? Are you finding this with people? Is that they lose some of their driving privileges in that process?
They do, and they probably must go through IMT and do some tests for those other licenses. Okay.
Yes.
Because, for instance, for trucking, you have to have the CAM, the CAM. So you need to actually do some tests to be able to have licenses that actually apply in Portugal. So imagine I'm from Brazil, and I'm a truck driver there. When I come to Portugal, I cannot drive a truck. I need to actually go through the process to be able to actually I have the license, but now I need to be within the process, and I have the license of the CAM license to be able to actually drive a truck. Okay, so there are some rules. We need to go with them and apply them, because again, it's the regulations here. But usually I say get an international license, driver's license, and you don't change it here, so it's okay.
Okay, nice. Thank you very much for that. Pam's saying I moved over from the UK in our right-hand drive car, but never considered keeping it. We drove it back and sold it, and then flew back with the money made. What are your observations of driving right-hand drive cars? I mean, do people often do that? It's not very comfortable to do that, especially when you go to the toll and you're in a right-hand drive car.
Unless you have Via Verde, you just put Via Verde and you pass through all the tolls. But but indeed, it's not. I would not think it's comfortable. My grandfather, he was from Mozambique, and he came in Mozambique. They drive on that side as well, and he brought his old Peugeot to Portugal. And he doesn't drive it anymore because he passed away. But of course, the car is still here, and he used to drive it, till his last day. So imagine that, he would always drive with that wheel on the right side. So for me, it's not comfortable. Okay, but
when you're overtaking, as people like to do in Portugal, it's not very comfortable for your passenger.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. And you can ask the manufacturer for the certificate of conformity in Portuguese. Thank you. That's a great tip.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Prof. Classic cars are older than 30 years. don't have to go through IPO inspection if they are certified as classics by the ACP, Clássicos, or similar every 4 years.
Exactly. That's what I was saying about the specifications on the classic cars. They don't need to pay, the yoke. They don't need to have an inspection, So, but they need to be they cannot be fallen apart. Okay. So.
All right. And Joao F, again, classic cars are not all tax-free for import, only if they have been manufactured until 1969. Okay. Just confirmed now. Okay, thank you for that. Anna's very grateful for the valuable info. We all are. Thank you so much, Luis, for being here this morning. Chris has never loved any of his cars enough to consider shipping one from the US to Portugal. Yeah, and I think it is for people who are very attached, isn't it? Or who have got very expensive cars that this is what we're talking about.
And you know what? For people that imagine a Portuguese that goes to the US and has a Mustang there, and then he wants to bring that car to Portugal.
Yes.
It's usually like that,
And people do get very attached. Others don't. And those people who don't get as sentimentally attached to their cars might come to this conclusion. Just buy a car in Portugal.
Depends. Because, if you consider the cost of buying a car in Portugal, then you'll think twice as well. You see, a new car in Portugal, because you pay a lot, and if you have, a 2, 3, 5-year-old car, in your origin country, and you don't want to sell it, and it's a car that, imagine that you have a BMW 320, for instance. That's a very standard car, okay?
I can only imagine that, but yes, go on.
Well, but basically, if you have that car, or a Honda Civic, to say, and you want to bring it to Portugal, it's a almost new car. It's worth it to bring it if you are with all documents to be able to be exempt of taxes and duties, because you will save a lot of money. You'll just spend the money of shipping the car. All the rest is cheap, and then for you to legalize the car will also not be expensive. So it's important that so you'll save up money.
For the right car, it is the right thing to do. Okay, exactly. Fair enough. Good point. So some new names here. This is fantastic. Humberto Patricio is here. The ports have their own law in Portugal. I'm sure it's the same everywhere, isn't it? If you don't follow with the compliance rules, you can't get your stuff. Simple. And Lawrence Rodriguez McGonigal is here as well. Bon dia. And great to see you. Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day to you. Dougie's in as well. And a question before you go this morning, Luis. So I plan to drive my 2001 Land Rover to Portugal. That is going to be uncomfortable, isn't it? And then legalize it. Is there a simpler process than doing that as far as Andy's concerned?
Well, the process is the same. The question would be, where are you driving it from? So probably...
From the UK.
From the UK. Okay, so it's normal. You will need to go to the IMT, declare he wants to import the car, to change the license plate. The only thing is that he is not doing it, is, of course, he has to present the baggage certificate, all of those documents anyway, okay, even if he's driving the car to Portugal. Because he is allowed to have the car in Portugal for a short period of time, okay? And then he must go away, okay?
Yes, of course. So again, going back to what you said before, find out what you need to do before you drive here, rather than drive it here and end up with a problem.
Yeah, well, as long as if his desire is to legalize the car and Andrew is eligible to have a baggage certificate because he has a residency in Portugal. He has not been in Portugal for more than a year, and he has been in the UK for more than a year. Then he can collect all the documents, come to Portugal, present them, do the import of the car, and then legalize the car. Okay, that's okay.
Andrew, make sure you've got your paperwork sorted out and know what you need to do before you come, I think is the advice there. Do you think that's a picture of his own DNA that he's put on his YouTube? That's very specific, isn't it? That he's got on his YouTube profile there. Very good. Pam's saying, I kept my motorcycle license when I exchanged, no problem. I think the UK gives license for some things without a test that need a test here, like towing a trailer, for example. And T-Duck had a motorcycle license in the US. I can imagine you on a Harley over there on Californian roads, T-Duck, but it did not transfer with the license exchange, which is fine with me. I wouldn't consider riding here. So he's not going to be up and down the country on his motorbike. Can you do multiple baggage certificates, or do you have to decide everything you're bringing in one go? Great question, Stephen. Yes, sir.
Well, you can have. Remember, the baggage certificate is a document that will say that you are moving to a certain country on the next time. You see,
Yep.
So Luis is moving from the US, from Brazil, from whatever place, to Portugal, and is moving in this date. You see,
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
That document you cannot issue one and then another one and another one, because you are not moving oftentimes. You see, you need to move once. Of course, you could issue the baggage certificates, as many as you could actually prove to be able to get. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you decide to move your goods and your car, for instance, or anything, then you would need to think on whatever you want to ship to Portugal and make one certificate with all of that in it. Okay. That would be the answer.
Very good, Stephen. Thank you very much for that question. Pam knows a few people who broadcast from the UK, didn't know the rules, ended up scrapping them. Yeah, and that's probably going to cost you as well. Antonio, no, not Antonio. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Not Antonio F. Joao F. We should also consider this. When I lived in Berlin, a car there would be far less expensive than in Portugal, but the price of insurance was 10 times higher. Oh, yes. You've got to look at the holistic costs, haven't you, for your cost-benefit analysis of any of these things. So the car would cost me more or less the same after 5 years of ownership. That's a good call there. Thank you very much for that. And that on the screen there, I'm surprised I didn't recognize that. It's a tire rubber molecule. So I think as an engineer, it probably is his DNA as well. There's a little bit of petrol in there somewhere as well, I think. And Jim, bon dia, everyone, driving from Valencia to Cordoba today, tomorrow to Vera. Fantastic. Have a great day all. Jim, bon voyage to you. So anything else we've missed, Luis? Anything else you need to tell us this morning? Because I've got one final question for you, but anything we might have missed out that you wanted to include?
Well, there's a lot of things to say about the legalizing part of the cars, but I would think that that's quite specific and for each car. So we might as well just discuss it with the specific persons on the specific car situation. So
all right,
go ahead and throw the question.
Okay, yeah, and get in touch via our business directory there, Global International Relocation. Say, I saw Luis on the telly this morning, and I've got a question for him. So you can email the company from the business directory on there. So good to talk to you. Now, I know we were talking about grits this morning. I do not understand why Americans eat grits. It must be something you're kind of brought up with. What's your view as somebody who's lived in America? Because I think you did, didn't you? You spent some time in America as a younger man?
I did spend 2 years there. But you know what? You are saying grits, and I'm like, what's grits?
You never encountered grits?
I'm trying to understand what grits is. What is
I
that?
think it's like boiled cardboard. That they seem to have for breakfast. Yeah.
Well, I know now what's that. I don't used to eat that here, not even there. Not even the oatmeal I did, but grits I've never.
And you probably wouldn't either. Okay, all right. So I thought I'd ask you. I thought what do you remember from that you really loved and enjoyed food-wise in America that you brought back?
A very odd thing that everyone thinks weird that I liked. It was it's a drink, root beer, and no one likes it. Everyone says it tastes like medicine. But I enjoyed it a lot.
I remember that. When I was a kid, McDonald's used to sell root beer.
Yeah.
I think it was also called sarsaparilla, wasn't it? Sarsaparilla as well. So that's interesting to know. So if anyone can help me and Luis find a root beer somewhere in Portugal.
But I had, in my time in the US, in Utah, I was in Utah, and some people there, I would say everyone there would actually serve, jelly. Jelly, what I mean is it's jelly.
Jam.
Not jam, jelly. The one that is like you can move. That does like this. You see, like jelly, literally.
I know exactly what you mean.
Put things inside of the jelly that I would not understand, like peas and stuff like that. I was like, oh man, that was weird. but they would serve it in every meal, like they would put you like the food, and if you want, you could put jelly in it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just
Okay,
eat.
yeah,
That
fine.
was the
Hello.
sweet taste. Jello, that's the name.
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly, you funny Americans. Thank you very much for it.
But I liked it. I liked it.
It's
And the stuffed potatoes, those were very good. So it was very, very good.
excellent stuff. You haven't lived apparently until you've enjoyed a bowl of shrimp and grits. I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm thinking the texture and taste might be a little bit like a sorda. So you've got
Yeah.
that porridgey texture that you get obviously from bread with a sorda, but with some shrimps in there. Yeah, I get it. I'm beginning to understand it. Cindy B, if you cook that for me one day, I will try it. And
Well, in Portugal, I remember from a young age, my mom used to, what's maizena? The corn flour,
yes,
very
cauliflower.
thin.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
used to thicken, to thicken food and stuff like that. The sauces,
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So
Yeah.
my mom used to make with milk and lemon peels, and she would make these things for us. I don't know, how do you call it, papas, like just for us to eat as
Yeah, it's a
as
little
a young
snack.
kids, like
Yeah.
oatmeal. She would make it
Okay.
and she would give to us. It would be pretty much like this, but when I look at this would probably be just uh, grits. I
Comfort
would
food.
probably see that it would be more like an Africa. In Africa, they used to eat this and fuba and all of that.
Amaze. Yes.
I have
I
African roots, so I
yeah.
have eaten pretty much all of these things. But
Yes. 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 And
they
what
are
I
they
think,
are flavorless, though. They are flavorless. I don't feel the
they
flavor in it.
I get you. They are a texture, aren't they? And they're a texture that
Exactly.
you grow up with, and it's associated with grandma or mum or something like that. So I totally understand it, even though it may not be the heights of culinary and Epicurean delight. Grits are great. Try fried chicken. That's what we had yesterday, didn't we, with Owen's fried chicken. So this is a traditional American meal then. Try fried chicken, collard greens, and grits in Atlanta. The chicken
Wow.
was
Okay.
yum good. Okay, and look, it worked. It worked. She's going to cook me grits and shrimps. Thank you very much for going down that little avenue, Luis, about your time in America and then reminding us about root beer. There are people who are here now who want a root beer. The power of advertising. We are not being sponsored by a root beer company. Not yet, anyway. Maybe next time. Luis, have a great day. Bon dia to you. Thank you so
You
much.
as well. Thank
Ciao,
you so
ciao.
much.
Yeah, see you next
Bye-bye.
month, mate. All right.
Take care.
And all the best to everyone at GIR this morning. Fantastic. Okay. We got a few minutes left to talk about anything we like, basically. So let's do that. And let me, it's not correct to say that Luis Duarte of Global International Relocation is live from Sintra. He has now gone. So let me put something else on the screen for you. There you go. Join us, if you will, free of charge as a community member or trade up to premium and premium plus levels of membership with us to Expats Portugal. So what else is being said? Lovely to see a few new, excuse me. Lovely to see a few new names in the chat and the commentary this morning. And yes, root beer. That was a good call, wasn't it? Also, James was saying a few things this morning about the consideration of not having a car, which takes us in a different direction, but a good one. Let's include considering non-car options as well. It would make a huge positive difference for our planet and its inhabitants. And that was your approach, I think, wasn't it? Anyone consider to use the move to Portugal as an opportunity to become car independent? That was my strategy, says James. Public transportation is working fine for me. And it's only 20. Look at that. You can't even fill your car up for that anymore. Well, those days are long gone, aren't they? 20 euros to fill up a car. Some of us have been unaffected by the energy crisis and still only put 20 euros in at a time. But 20 euros per month covers all public transport for seniors. Otherwise, it's 40 a month. That's not too bad. And it is true. The public transit system, I've got one of those, is it a Viva card or a Via card? The green card in Lisboa is superb because it not only covers the beautiful trams and the metro, you've got the ferries as well. It's really, really good. And where is the comment from Joao? I think Joao had a little bit of a something to add to that, some T's and C's to that. Carl, you and Thunderdut, you're probably thinking about the instant grits you get up north. I'm really sorry. Come by Shea Yeoman and we'll fix you right up. I'm looking forward to this. Yes, Sarah. Yes, Cindy B on that as well. And we have got a lovely link as well. So yeah, info on the website at GIR, globalmobility.pt. I'm going to stick that into the comments now for you. It's the seven steps to legalize your vehicle in Portugal. How helpful is that? Thank you very much, Luis, for that. So let me just pop that into there for anybody who isn't considering going carless, but is attached to bringing their motor vehicle of any kind over to Portugal. And that's going into the comments now, which I don't think, are they live links for you? I'm not sure. It doesn't work for me like that, but there it is. 7 steps to legalize your vehicle in Portugal, and you can find that at globalmobility.pt. Yeah, I love the fresh ginger ale and root beer too. I've got you all going with your favorite drinks this morning. That's fantastic. And yes, to James from Nubian, I'm thinking of moving to a less expensive city. If I didn't work for the state, I'd move to a less expensive state, so my taxes won't be tied to California. Okay. Yeah, I think, where is Joao F. and his comments about going carless? The illegal thing the Portuguese government does is to tax EVA over the car price plus EVA, which means taxing over an already taxed price. Oh, the rascals. They keep doing it because the fines they pay to the EU are cheaper than what they get out of the taxes. Yes, that's not within the spirit, is it, of the EU, I didn't think, but I've heard of this. And that's why people don't just drive over to another EU country and bring a car in. I think you're meant to be able to do that, but there isn't unification on that for Portugal among the European brother and sister countries. Nestle clusters not available in the UK, still in Intermarché or Pingo Dos shelves. I'm glad to hear you're able to grab a cluster whenever you feel the need then, Dougie, this morning. Yes, weird how long lost products, long deleted in the UK, still available in Portugal, such as Maria biscuits and certain breakfast cereals like the clusters you mentioned. Maria biscuits. I mean, I thought they were uniquely Portuguese, like they were the equivalent of the rich tea biscuit. Well, Maria's once available in the UK. I did not know that. It's the keeper of the likes must be busy. Lycus Maximus has been moved to one side for a moment, and Cindy B's taken up that mantle. Only half of us have taken the time to fondle the like button. Come on, gang. Come on, man. And enjoying a lot of info about importing cars and talking about food and drink this morning, I think, there for Raj. Let me see, what else have we got then? Oh, I wanted to show you a picture of that picnic area. And that's what Owen was talking about earlier on, everybody. Talking about enjoying food and drink and maybe a root beer. I have a lovely photo to show you now. This is my kids at that Parc de Merendas. Is that going to be a big enough table for all us gumpers? I think so. And if you take a look around the park, there are so many other benches and tables there for for spin-off groups. We could have we could have a little sort of food safari there, couldn't we? Where you move around the tables, setting up different tables. There could be an American themed table where you could try grits and shrimps, and then a British table where you could eat brown sauce. Probably, hopefully other things as well, but you could try HP or Daddy's sauce there. But isn't that a fantastic facility there? There's a kids' playground. There's the barbecuing facilities. It's beautiful. And those oak trees that are everywhere there in the Parc de Merendas in Gaio there, those oak trees will be covering the place in the summer, and it will be a beautiful place to have a picnic with all the gang as the dappled light and sunshine comes through those oak leaves. That will be fabulous. I'm definitely going back there. Did you guess that this was Banana Slug himself? Is that a banana slug in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? And there he is away at, was it a summer camp there or the summer lodge anyway? And if you look at closely in that bedroom there is a head of one of those sort of, is it a wig? I don't know what to call that apart from a severed head, which is not the right way of referring to that. But, one of those makeup dolls, or women used to have them more, I think, didn't they, in the 70s and 80s, where you could put your... What is it for? Why would you have that? I mean, if you have a wig, I suppose it's a handy place. But you could just put the wig on a hook on the back of the door, couldn't you? And just pop it on before you go out. That's what I do every day before I come on the show. Thank you. That was indeed James, the banana slug there in that Guess the Gumper picture. So last couple of comments before we go up to 10 o'clock. Gumbo and jambalaya with dirty rice. Dirty rice sounds like fun. And red beans. Yes, we do have the food memory running now, don't we? And Jess asking Banana Slug, so if one buys a pass in Porto, would it work in the Algarve? If you're a Portuguese oldie, I suspect your pass might work all over the country. That's not, but they tend to be per metropolitan area, don't they, rather than a universal one all over the country? Although I suspect something like that might be available. Garvo, was it cooked with cream and butter? You can pour gravy on it as well. What are we talking about now? And yes, you are right in thinking that was James there. Let's go back to what Garvo's saying. Grits taste like wallpaper paste. Yeah. Before you ask, the answer is yes. Have you? Yes. So he has tasted wallpaper paste. Probably a prank when he was an apprentice back in the day. Crawford's used to do Marie biscuits. They were called Marie's and not Maria biscuits, as they are here, of course. Hard to be Carlos in rural Oregon. We don't have very good public transportation. And I'm sure that's very true all over America. It is doable here, folks. It really is. And why not start a thread on that if there isn't one already? I'm sure there are threads. I've seen the threads on our community forum about people who are trying to live without a car here in Portugal. We've tried it, actually. And if you live near a station, a railway station, or a bus stop, you'll do pretty well. But, the further you go from the big areas, the more difficult it's going to be. So choose wisely if that is your aim. I'm coming from Singapore, says Raj, where public transport is superb and CEOs too use it. Weekend cars are cheaper, else owning a car is not worth it after you pay taxes. Yes, this is what's happening around the world, isn't it? You'll not have a car and be happy about it. I might have to go make some grits now and mix some smoked turkey in. Well, now you're talking. You're turning me here, Ubi, with that. Talking of importing methods of transport, news just in. Putin's super yacht arrested in Spain. Arresting a super yacht. Wow. Easy as oatmeal to heat up in a microwave, but a bit slower to cook. That's with the grits there. And OLP, this final thought then. OLP, and brewing an alcoholic ginger beer as we speak, almost ready to bottle. Oh, Stephen, recipe, please. Can we have that? Will you share that with us or tell us about it? It would be really nice to know about such things. And the elderflower fizz, of course, that will be coming our way in these as we go into spring. Yes, please share those. Am I allowed to say this? Please share those recipes for brewing alcohol at home. Oh dear, make sure you're appropriately licensed, won't you? I think I should say that. And drink responsibly. Okay, fantastic. But it's your life. Do what you like because you're grown-up adults. I would like to think. I'm not sure that's always the case, but I think I've given the necessary caveats and warnings there. And on that note, I wish you a very good day. Tomorrow, of course, I'm still trying to read all of these. There's a flurry of comments coming in, and I'm sure there's a word for this. Oh no, let's not get on to gravy. That's true. Let's not start Gravygate this morning. See you tomorrow with fitness for body and mind. And I have to say, it's the elephant in the room, and that's not a judgment of your stature, anybody. But if you do feel a little bit heavier, talking of elephants in the room, if you do feel a little heavier than you'd like to be, Coach Turner's in tomorrow, and he'll show you how to gently ease yourself into a fitter frame. And I have worked with him. I've slacked a little bit in the last little while, so it'll be a great moment tomorrow to relaunch again. A little group of people who might want to be on a WhatsApp group together and do a little bit every day and grow old gracefully. Gentle fitness for bon viveurs. That's how we roll. And so why not join us tomorrow? Get a few tips tomorrow and maybe even launch into some spring-like fitness. Spring forward, not just with the clocks, but with your body as well. And let's have some fun with that. And fitness for the mind as well, because Phil Cooklin will be here from Kuwudu talking about, again, how to manifest your dreams and this technology that's available to all of us. If not for our standing conditioning and ideas that we come with our prejudices about how we can manifest our dreams. Talking to Phil about that. And he knows what he's talking about. He manifested himself an amazing home plot with Monsanto in the distance, that beautiful view that some of you might remember when you joined us on the show before. So Phil and Ian tomorrow for some Feel Good Friday fun, those two gentlemen, and we'll have a bit of fun with them tomorrow as we go towards the weekend. Tonight's webinar, we'll have to talk to Michael Averbuk. If you're not already booked with Michael Averbuk tonight from Serenity, talking about the Portuguese health system this evening and how to engage with it in the best possible way. That's the webinar for this evening. And for those of you lucky enough to be on the Premium Plus level with the Expats Portugal plan, we'll be in the company of Nuno tonight, who will talk to us, of course, about insurance, but we'll quiz him as a Portugueser about all aspects of life in Portugal. We're talking about NIF numbers, we're talking about currency, and we're talking about banks on the Premium Plus call at 9 o'clock tonight. If you want to sign up for that, go to the homepage, join up free as a community member, join us as a premium member and get loads of discounts and perks and benefits as a premium member, and sign up to Premium Plus, and you'll have that weekly meetup that I just talked about where we'll hang out with Nuno tonight, and we'll get you here quick to Portugal, handheld and step-by-step, moving over to Portugal. If you want to accelerate your plans, come work with us on the Premium Plus program, which you can book up for, and you can pay on a monthly basis now, folks. That's all been set up. We had a bit of a typo on there. It's all set up now. expatsportugal.com. I will look forward to your company tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.